I'll sit down first. I'm going to change it.
Yeah. But we're going to go, right? And we're...
Hello, welcome to the Medicare Gurus Dojo, broadcasting live worldwide every lunchtime, noon Central Time. We've got a great talk today. We got a remote audience. We're broadcasting live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Be sure to join us, like, subscribe, so you get all the notifications of when we're coming live every day. Today, we're starting a series of A to Z, how to build an insurance agency and how to become successful in the insurance business. We're joined live by Jacob Crotty, one of our chief mentors here on the Medicare Guru sales floor. Stephen Grip, director of recruiting, seasoned insurance agent, and Brad Jenkins, the godfather of the sales floor. I personally written over 5,000 applications in Medicare. And one of the most consistent people I've ever met in my life. So we got a real wealth of knowledge here. Today's topic, we're going to talk about, the very core basics. Why the insurance business? Now, I'm going to start with that. Every person has a different way that they got in the insurance business, but they all seem to go the same. And whether it's the people I talk to who are been in the business for 50 years or people 3 years, is there something about them that got them into the sales world? And the sales world seems to be a world where you're always promised a lot of money and you can often make a lot of money, but it's very inconsistent. I know when I first got out of college, I'd cold called in the summers for my dad, and I went through and he said, go out in the job market, see what's there. So I took a couple sales jobs, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Even if you're a good salesperson, you know what to do. The systems out there, the training, the opportunities you get, often they don't last. Often when you find something good, you can have a good run for a little while, and then someone in management or something changes and the rug gets pulled out from under you and all that. And so we're going to have a conversation today and a little bit more of a talk about what makes the insurance business unique and why that I feel is the best place for any common person like you and me to be able to make a long-term living and change their stripes in life through a career in insurance sales. So how you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Good. Yeah?
You're doing good.
So we're opening the whiteboard again. We're going to have some dynamic up and down talk. But, when I got in the insurance business, it was a little bit different because my dad told me to go back out there and look, and then I kind of fell back into it. And I went to other insurance jobs and everything else. And I saw what's out there in the insurance world, and then having recruited for decades, insurance agents from different walks of life, and people coming in from different sales jobs, you really see like this common theme. And that's what people are looking for is I want to make unlimited income. I want to be able to earn what I'm worth, but I want it to be stable. I don't want it to change. I want to have control over my own life. The people who want to not have control of their life want a base job, someone to tell them what to do, how to come in, get a salary, be told what to do, check out, and then they know that they have this income coming in. They know that if they do what the boss says, they're probably not going to get fired, which, by the way, that's not very reliable anymore. Anyway, that used to be the thing. You put 40 years with the company, get the watch and the trophy and the retirement package, right? But everyone comes in, but the sales people are a different breed. The salesperson comes out and says, I want to make more. I want to have control over my own destiny, my own life, and all that. And yeah, I mean, even when I was in high school, you could work at the restaurant, you could be a busser or a cook, and you can make, at that time it was $4.25 an hour, or you can make about 7 or 8 if you're waiting tables, and some people are making 10. Like, which job are you going to do, right? But some people are like, no, I don't know how much they'll tip me. I'm not sure. I know this is stable. I don't want to take that $2.13 an hour. But the salesperson's a different breed. And the reason we want to make more money is so that we can have control over our own path. So, Jacob, why the insurance business, man?
I mean, it's for the people. It's the connections that you make. You know, you get like the one I sold this morning where it's a 2-hour conversation and half of the talk is about insurance. It's about me and him just bonding together. You know, I'm a sucker for grandmas. I love me some grandmas.
They love you too.
They love me, but that's why I do it. It's not for money. It's not for fame. It's not for YouTube clicks. I know we'll get some, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because at the end of the day, the other person on the line is another human being that needs help. And they don't know how to be led. They don't know where to be led. They might not even have a clue what's going on. I just know that they need somebody, and I want to be that person. That's why insurance.
Is that why you're in the business, or is that why you enjoy your day and you stay in this role?
Hey, if you guys can hear me, there's no audio.
Oh, it's
There we go.
Well, y'all haven't heard a thing that we've said?
Not a bit.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Was that just on the Zoom? We got an echo now
It was
too.
just on the Zoom.
That was just on the Zoom.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
echo now.
Yeah, we need to shut that off.
Sorry, try to have a technology company
Are we
and
still being heard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
yes, okay. All right, good. All right, so yeah. So my question to you, you're saying that what motivates you is the people and the interactions you have and your ability to be useful and helpful to people who really need help. You know, so are you in this business because of those people? Because there's a lot of places you can be helpful, or is that another thing that you like, or is it a combination?
You know,
What would you say?
I'm in it for the people. The reason I show up every day is for the challenge, to win, to do something to win, to go another step further in your own development, in your own career, whatever that may be. That's the motivating factor. Not only is it the, being a good person, helping people out in a hard time, but it's the challenge. Because if you're like all of us here, how we are, that same old question, do you love to win or hate to lose? We all hate to lose. We're in it to win. And every time you can help somebody, you are fulfilling your goal to the earth and to the universe by putting other people ahead of you and making that better. But it's the challenge of getting to that point.
That's a common thing that almost everyone in the insurance business. There's a type they're like cash money. I look at my watch, look at my car, bling bling. But most people, and those people come and go. But most people are successful in the insurance business. They're that's one of the biggest things they say, helping people. And that heart to help people seems to be the thing that makes people successful as well. The people, you can go out on enthusiasm and make some sales and make some money. But over a couple decades and all that, what's going to really keep you going is the connections you have with your customers, I believe. Yeah. What role does money play for you?
It is a factor, but it's not the deciding factor. Because you control what you can't control. You don't worry about what you can't control. Just had that conversation too with somebody. But it's not the end of the day. This is bottom line dollar amount. This is what it is for me.
Right.
Okay. It's one where if you have a fear of living under a highway, great. Let that motivate you to get more. But there, like I said, it's endless opportunity. You reap what you sow in this. So if you want more, you got to go earn more. You don't get more, you earn more.
And how's the insurance business giving you that synergistic way to make that work for you?
Kind of like just you said, the more people you help, guess what? It's all correlation. The more money you get.
Right.
Where if you can be your true and honest self and not just worry about, I got to sell a policy here. I got to sell myself first to get this relationship. Right. But down the line, you do that enough, the money is going to follow you. But if you're just doing it for the money, if you're just churning and burning here, like you said, you're going to make money for, a few years here. But over time, are you still going to be doing this
Yep.
if you're putting the money first?
No.
You put people first, money comes second. But as long as you're helping people and you're developing a relationship, you're growing your base of clientele, the money's going to follow you. It will.
Right. And Brad, now you've been in a lot of careers. You've been here, what, 12 years as of yesterday?
Yeah, 12
or day
years.
before yesterday?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you were in sales pretty much your whole life before that.
Yeah, I
One
was
job
in
to another.
industrial sales, business to business, quite a different environment. You're dealing with several different layers of decision makers. You get screened and everything else. You have a lot of different competition. And drove 40,000 miles a year. And I did that for about 25 years. It was an interesting job. I saw a lot of things, but it just wasn't doing it. And, especially with the economy, a lot of companies moving away to other places. There was no, renewals. I mean, you sell it, maybe you'll sell another sale again in 5 years, And when I heard about insurance, especially here, a friend of mine turned me on to this, and I'm like, wait a second. You mean I don't have to drive everywhere? I can do this over the phone, and I can make money, and I can build a clientele, and then I get renewals on. I'm like, I'm in. I had no insurance experience whatsoever. I didn't know what I was doing to begin with, but little by little, after a few months, I caught on, was able to do it and gradually build the business. But one common denominator in sales, just like Jacob hit on, you can't be greedy. You can't focus on the commission before you've made it. You can't make money though. It's like, oh man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this. Make your focus on doing the right thing for the client. If they expect you to do something, do it and do it honestly. Everybody's looking for somebody they can trust. They're looking for a company they can trust. And I found out a long time ago, it's really about helping others. If you make that your primary focus, you will be successful. And,
And what you're saying is interesting because you're saying what attracted you to the business. And then you talk about what you learned in the business and what made you successful over time. It was two different things.
mm-hmm.
What attracted you to the business, you're saying, is I want to get off the highway. I want to quit driving.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like a really good opportunity. I was still my mind is I'm in the money making mode,
Right.
Had a family, 4 kids in college. I mean, I needed to make some money. Obviously that was a big motivator, but when I got into this, and I love dealing with seniors. I mean, they are a wealth of information. I've learned so much from my clients and I love them all, and my mindset has shifted from being this greedy guy over to helping people. And by doing that, I found my business just expanded exponentially,
Right.
referrals, and everything else, and, if you do one person bad, that's worth like 5 good people at least. I mean, they're going to spread the negative news.
Right.
You do somebody right, they're going to tell all their friends, yeah, call this guy. I got a guy. Let's talk.
If you
to
coach
him.
him to.
He'll
If you
take,
coach
he'll
him
take
to.
care of you,
Yeah.
And I learned that concept very quickly, and it made me feel good. I could sleep at night. I didn't have a whole lot of things hanging over my head. I knew I did a good, honest job for the day. And, came back to work the next day, didn't have a whole lot of homework, especially initially. There was a lot to learn, and which never ends. But
So some people, the reason I brought that up is a lot of people, all the people who are successful end up saying, I'm focused on my customer. I'm focused on their needs. If you ever try to calculate your commission, you're going to lose the sale. If you ever think about your commissions, you're going to lose the sale. There's a way to set up your systems, get your leads right, get your activities right and all that. But you get on the phone with that client, you got to love them unconditionally and do that. Everyone who's successful over the long term ends up there, but everyone comes in with a different reason. You have 4 kids in college. You wanted to get off the road. You wanted to, probably reduce the stress of being on the road and all of that. There are those differences. I think that's interesting. So a lot of the people are watching us on the internet, people in the Zoom call here, they're all looking at, they're all coming here for different reasons, or they got in the insurance business for different reasons. But what is the great thing that everyone finds out is I don't have to lie to people.
yeah,
How many jobs out there you know, they would come in and it's like, get the money, get the check, tell them whatever they need to know, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And in this, we get to actually be advocates for our clients, and we get to actually help them run through this mess and that they're going through, get their needs met, you know, make good sound decisions that we know 10 years from now, they do what we said, they're going to be covered and get taken care of when they get sick. I mean, it's so the feeling you get is amazing. Grip, you have a whole different background.
I do.
You're in the teaching background, right?
Yeah, I was in education for many years. And although I love teaching, I just obviously in the world of education, you don't make a lot of money. And I did not want to climb the corporate ladder of being an administrator or consultant because I wanted to help kids. I wanted to teach. I wanted to share my knowledge, and I wanted to educate. So I hopped into the insurance world, you know, with that hybrid of wanting to help as well as making money. And I wasn't really doing well at it. But when I stumbled into Medicare, that's where I really found my calling, because these people, you know, and we'll talk about Medicare later, but these people really need help, you know. And going back to what Jacob said, it's like that takes precedence over everything. You know, I learned, like, I was so focused on money in my career because I had kids and I saw an opportunity to make more money in the insurance world. But when I let that go and just focused on the client, I focused on what their needs were and helped them, the money came.
Right. So for you, it was money.
Yes, absolutely it was.
It was absolutely. I don't come in, I want to make money.
I want to come in and make money. Yes.
And now there's a chance to make residual money.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that people don't talk about. Like, I mean, most sales jobs, I mean, especially the bigger the company, the more this is, you use the salespeople as a commodity, pay them as little as possible, pay them enough to keep the organization going and keep the back end. Now, the insurance business has traditionally always been one where the insurance companies will pay you a long-term residual income. Now, it might be, you know, a little harder the first year, but by the second year, third year, as that book of business starts stacking, you get to a point where you can wake up in the morning and your bills are paid. Assuming you haven't increased your lifestyle, which you really shouldn't for a while, your bills are paid before you wake up in the morning. And that's when people take off because, wow, I mean, I remember the first when I was doing that, you know, I had like $3,000 a month and my renewal check got to $3,000. I was like, yeah, I could just take off. Right. I don't have to go to work. I mean, I guess I got to sell a couple policies to go pay for wherever I'm going to go. Right. And, you know, like short-term thinking, you do that in a couple months, you're broke again, you know, or you're broke again. But instead, that gave me the freedom to catapult my business, and that's why we're here today, right? And so that stacking of long-term residual income, having equity in what you're building, and it's yours. You have a right to that residual income. Wow. I mean, that's something that the common person doesn't get very often, right? And to know that that's there. I mean, Brad, you're at a point where you want to start taking a little more time off, restructuring some of your stuff. Come to me, and I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, what have you been working for 12 years so hard for? You got all the money. You don't have to work for the next 5 years probably. And you'd still be making a six-figure income with the trail off. Right. So you better go take some time and go enjoy that and go do things, you know, explore other sides of the world and your personality and places to go and things like that. And you can still maintain that. You can scale down your effort a little bit to maintain what you have. You can go out of growth and building mode and you can go into a maintenance mode and have, you know, what, 30-40% of your time free to go do whatever throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, what other jobs do you get that? You can still work and throttle down and make almost the same amount of money.
It's the perfect part-time position, really. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday I came in, I'm going to work about half a day. Well, I found up working most of the day and put up 6 on the board, you know, just from activity, you know, people calling.
Well, you know, not to, when they're there. Well, when the business is there, you don't go home.
You can't get away. That's the truth.
I mean, you guys are joking with me because I showed up 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, but you know, I've always been a morning person anyway. And that's one thing. You want to start off early. You know, these seniors get up early. You want to start off early, get your day going. You know, this isn't like, you know, I'll get up at 10 o'clock and start calling, you know.
People are already on with their day. You
People, the
can get them
deals are
early.
done. You know, you look at a lot of leads came in, they're in at 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, you know, and agents are calling at 7 o'clock to get that.
Well, the other thing you'll see is even if you're calling people and leaving voicemails and you're not getting them, you're on their list first thing in the morning. When they start looking like, oh, the insurance guy called, I need to probably think, and you're in their mind before they get their agenda for the day set.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's important. But you know, the topic is why insurance. So I think this is a theme that's coming around. Is everyone comes in for different reasons. One of them is definitely money. Another's lifestyle. A few who are probably coming in through us by watching us and all that have learned that this is a synergistic world where we can help people and we can feel good about what we do every day. And if we can set our targets on helping and being as most value for as many people as possible, then we'll actually make more and more money. And we can build our own block of business and have equity and stake in what we're building instead of letting someone else keep the backside. And that's like something that like people get over time, I think. What else? Why else should people get in the insurance business?
I mean, we're selling protection. You know, that's what we're really doing. We're giving people peace of mind. And we know what Medicare supplements do, or Advantage plans in that case, if it's appropriate. But we want to make sure that what we sell them is what fits their bill. And we're helping them. Especially seniors, they don't want a lot of hassle. They don't want paperwork and all this sort of thing and have to call a bunch of different people. Are they going to pay my bill? And, you know, they want peace of mind. They want to know that they've been protected and they don't have to worry about anything. And that's what we provide, you know, and it's.
Tell me about feedback from your customers that you get, like the warm fuzzies that you're getting when someone has a claim, something happens. Tell me some stories.
My guy Tony today, you know, you talk about people early. He's on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
He called me at 8:30, at 6:30 his time in the morning, all ready to go. He goes, how come you haven't called me yet? And I go, because legally I can't until 10 my time. But you and me, we're both morning guys, so let's go. But we've been helping him for years, and then I've took over for a few years now. And it's to the point to where he already left us a review on Trustpilot. He already sends referrals my way. But he goes, look, man, if you need me, send me a survey I can take. I'm like, I ain't got one. He goes, send me a number I can call. I can talk about you. I go, I ain't got one. I go, you already did it. You did it last month when I helped you. Now I was just helping out with something different here. You already did it. You don't need to do anything else. He goes, I tell you what I'm going to do. You need somebody as a reference for how you treat people. You put me down. And he goes, I'm a realtor. I have the same thing. And I go, well, you know what? You got a guy that's like, I don't know about this Tony guy. Give him my number. I'll call him and tell him how you are. We've been working together for years now. I know how you operate. You know how I operate here.
Right.
You know, goes back to what we talked about yesterday with kind of networking, but having those connections with people that are in your community to make your life better. You know, that's the highest compliment you can get when somebody's like, I want to say something good about you to somebody else. And you come back and you say, you've already done
such a good job for the clients that they're volunteering to be your referral and go-to source. Right.
Yes.
Because you've taken the time to do it. And that's a lot. What you're doing is you're taking the time to build a lifelong client rather than trying to make a quick buck, trying to get a quick swim, wham, bam, them, you know, that kind of thing. And that's why you're getting that kind of feedback and why you get a consistent field of referrals as well. What other stories have you got? I mean, I can think of a few.
This morning, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning. She's 84, scared. She got scammed. Somebody put in a durable medical equipment claim to Medicare for insulin or diabetic equipment. She's not diabetic. And so I helped her work that out. She was worried. It's like, you know, are they going to cancel me and all this sort of thing? We got it worked out with the insurance company, Medicare. We have, the fraudulent claim put in. The thing that concerns me, you know, stuff goes to Milliman and gets on the record, so we'll have to deal with that down the road. But she was so happy with me. You know, of course, I'm not making any money on that. You know, it's part of the deal, and I love doing it. But she's going to tell all her friends, you know, and that's really where it's at. You know, you're just helping people.
I can tell you some stories that really good. this is where I've always said, I want to build a business that's so good and so ethical and competent that when someone in my family needs our services, I just give them the phone number. I don't have to say, well, let's make sure you talk to Jacob because I don't know about Brian. I don't know about on the floor. There are a bunch of new guys and, probably some shysters in there, but I want to just give them the number. And where that came from is, we've done that. And so when my aunts and uncles who are now on Medicare have come of age, I think you take care of a few of them. Frank's taking care of a few of them. And it's literally just give them the number. Because I believe everyone in this office here, will do a fine job with them. And then I'm at Christmas and my uncle opens up his shirt, shows me his heart surgery, where he had open heart surgery and all that. It shows how there is, $300 some thousand worth of bills. He said, I didn't pay a penny.
It's got a plan F. Yeah.
I chose where to go. I went to the doctor and the surgeon I wanted to and all that. I didn't have to pay anything. It was a godsend. Thank you so much for what y'all done and all that. It's like, well, we hear that every day for 20 years. But then, your uncle opens up his chest, shows you the scar and starts talking about how great you are to it at Christmas. So that's the kind of real impact that we can make and something you can feel good about. Any other good stories? I want to just do a little whiteboard presentation real quick.
I got one plug for you here that also goes back to Medicare Guru's YouTube. If you remember, you and me, we made a video like 6 or 7 months ago of that exact example, to where you gave the guy that used to work for you our number to call in because his mom was turning 65. I called him, got him, and he was like, hey, is Brandon there? I said, yeah, let me go grab him real quick. Grab my headset, chat with him. After that, got his mom all taken care of.
What that was, that was different. That was a guy who worked with us in 1999, 2000 as an appointment setter. And the last time I saw him was probably about 2005. And he was a personal friend of mine. And in 2021, I hadn't given him my number. That's the difference. He just called. We lived in East Texas at the time. We moved our office here a long time and changed names 3 times by then. He tracked me down in the world when his mom turned 65 and heard that, she was on the phone doing all that. He tracked me down in the world and said, whoever's here, you just make sure she's got the best because I know you'll take good care of my mom. Right? Because he had known what we did and what we stood for. That's fantastic. All right. So for those of you out there looking, if you're in the insurance business, congratulations. But I want to make sure you know that you're in the right place in the insurance business. You got me followed, Will? I'll get down here until you do.
All right.
All right. Tell me when we're switched.
Just on the wrong bars.
All right. So don't ever stand up when your cameraman's away from the desk. All right. So
Use a darker marker.
if you're in the insurance business, you're in the right industry. But I want to make sure that you know what the options are in the landscape of the industry because there's a lot of places you can fail in the insurance industry. There's a lot of places where no matter how good you are, the system is just not good enough for you to be successful. So, being in the right ocean is one thing, but being in the right boat is another one. And so I want to give you just kind of an overall, and then we're going to take it private to our private mastermind and our internal people. So, but right now I'll just give you a quick overview of where it is. So as you come to the insurance business, as an agent, this is it's real simple. You get your life and health license. You get your insurance license. If you're a P&C agent, same thing. You get your license, you're an agent, and that means you're welcome to sell. Now, the state has said that you can sell insurance. So then what do you have to do? Well, you got to get a carrier. You got to get a relationship with a carrier. You can do that several ways. You can do that through captive organizations, captive with a carrier. Now, this is the traditional way the insurance business worked. Traditionally, the insurance business had insurance companies that sold their own products. So if I'm ABC Insurance Company that was founded in 1864 and now manages, 4 million clients and $100 billion in assets, those companies started out with someone like you and me sitting there, recruiting agents, talking about our products, going out in the community saying, this is a good product. We're a good company. You should work with us. If something bad happens to you, we're going to be there. And then those people would recruit regional, and they would set up regional offices, and they would recruit new agents, teach them how to sell that company's products and all that. That's called a captive agency model. That means you work as an agent for that insurance company. So the word captive, it sounds horrible to me, but it means that you are not free to go out and work with other people. Now, in recent history, very recent history, really, over the last, 40, 50 years, has really taken prominence. You've been able to get the independent model. Now, the independent model means I can work for multiple carriers. So if I'm independent, that means, I get to broker what it is. I talked to Miss Jones. Well, I'm not just selling Mutual of Omaha's Medicare supplement. I'm going to look at Aetna, Cigna, Prosperity. I'm going to look at all of them and find the best value for you. Or even just what I want to sell you, who pays me the most. Doesn't matter, because I'm not a career person with this carrier. I'm not tied, and I don't have any agreements. And again, this all goes down to your contracts. Let me just write this down. Your contract, all of this is determined by the contract you have with the insurance company. Right? So if my contract says I'm an independent agent, I can do what I wish. It's not exclusive, all that. Then I can go and sell whatever I want to the customer. And so this independent model, that means you get to, for me, that means I get to have more opportunity because I'm not tied. I don't have to tell the company line to someone. I am now free to service that client in the way that I morally, ethically, and as a business proposition need to. So I am now independent, and so I'm a broker. I can broker these products, and I can find the right solution for the client. Now, within that independent force, which I recommend being independent. My father started out as a captive agent. He spent a decade of his life with one insurance company, and that ended badly. Why? Because my father had built himself up to where he, had about, and this was around 1990, he had about $7,000 a month of residual income coming in. He was in good shape, and he was one of the top, guys that went on their convention trips every year. And, they would go to Hawaii every year. Top 1% of people would go. And he got his residuals up to that amount. And he's living good. He's going out. He's making, over $100,000 a year. This is just his residual. He didn't have to work if he didn't want to. And he goes to this trip this year, and the president of the company, I think it was, gets up and says, and he gives this big speech and gets a standing ovation at the end. And my dad said he was flabbergasted, because what the main two tenets of the speech was, we're going to raise our premiums on our customers, and we're going to lower commissions. And he said, and this guy was able to say it in a way in front of a group of 150, 200 of the top agents in the country. He was able to say this in a way where he got a standing ovation about how good it was. And my dad and like 3 other people are sitting there going, wait, if you raise the premiums, we're already a little higher than the market anyway. Now it's going to get to where it's unsellable. I used to could say the integrity of the company and me as an agent was worth $10 a month, but I can't get people in rural East Texas to say it's worth $30 a month. So now this premium is going to be unsellable for me. The products are going to be unsellable for me. But if I am able to somehow overcome that, give the company line and do all that, then what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to get less money. And he said, this is not good. And so, and he actually talked to the guy. I'll tell the story in a longer time. But the guy said, well, we looked up there, and some of you guys are making over $100,000 a year, some of it residual. And people in the home office don't even make that much money. The executives in the home office don't even make that much money. Now, My dad, the first 10 years of his life while he was building this business on the promises that were made to him, well, was he told that some executives were going to come in and some accountants and some ego-driven MBAs are going to come in one day and say, these stupid salespeople are making too much money? To which my dad's answer was, you know, when I came on, my agent number is 6,700 and something, and the people who are now coming on are like 15,000 something. So y'all have signed up about 9,000 agents since we've been here. And of those, there's about 7 of us that have been here 5 years in a row. And he said, you go back to Omaha, Nebraska, and I want you to tell those people who are saying that, because I know for a fact, because I've been there, that there's a sales office right across the road. Just tell them, if they're unhappy with the money that all these salespeople are making, just turn in the resignation, walk across the road, because they're hiring every day. They can just come get some of this easy money. And the guy got all upset and all this, and he tried to talk him out of it and all that. But the bottom line of that is that there was a small percentage of people who actually made it really well in sales. My dad was one of those. And they came out, some MBA way thousands of miles away, came over and said, look, you're not worth it. We don't want you to have that because I got a degree in spreadsheets, and you aren't worth it. Right? So by being a captive career agent with a single carrier, my dad was in a position, he didn't know it, where he got the rug pulled out from under him. Now, he was in a position there where he was only 50% vested. And what they had was you get 50% vested after a certain time, and after a long period of time, you're 100% vested. And that means if you quit, I'll put that on the wrong side. If you quit, I think this was 5 years and this was 10 years. If you quit, then this $7,000 a month turns into 50%, 35. But that was because he was there between 5 and 10 years, I think. And he needed to wait a couple years to get there. But in the meantime, he couldn't go out and look his clients in the eye and recommend his product anymore because it was too expensive. And there was other things that were just as good for less money. And so he sat there in limbo. I don't want to lose this, but I can't go work every day. Well, what happens when you're not going out there achieving in the world? Well, you start getting depressed. Things start happening wrong. So he was in this state of limbo trying to figure out. And finally, he made the jump and he became an independent agent. And so that turned into $3,500, and he's like, hey, we're just going to have to make up the income. And so he took a big hit, but then he was able to rebuild his career. And I saw this when I was a young man. I was in college at the time. It was right at the time when I came back and started helping him, cold calling for him, setting appointments for him in the summer, right as he went independent. So I saw this, and it made a big impact on my life. And one of the biggest things I said is I'm never going to put myself in a contractual position where I lose complete control of what's happening. And it's like, well, we would never do that to you. It's like, you might not, but what about the guy who's going to replace you in 5 years? What about there's this big corporate organizational structure and all this stuff happens. And in the end, you're going to be, unless you have a contractual right to what you're building, you're going to be a number on a spreadsheet that someone's going to try to make lower. Because at some point, agent residuals and all that will be an expense to someone far away that they're trying to get rid of so they can make the number for next quarter to get the right multiple. Right? So this is something that you have to be aware of, can and probably will happen to you if you're trying to build something for the long term. Most people don't know that because they're just getting first year money and they get something, they get a paycheck, and the transaction's over. If you're going in to build long-term residual income, at Medicare Gurus, you're 100% vested from day one, by the way. So that means you sell one policy, you sell 1,000 policies. If that's not working out, we're cool. Whatever you paid is yours. Don't go committing felonies and frauds and stuff like that and trying to roll all your customers and all that. There is a little clause in there. If you get real sneaky and bad, then we have to fight a little bit. But other than that, we're cool. You're vested from day one because I don't want that to happen to other people. So So the other thing is we're an independent agency. That means we don't work for any specific insurance company. We will never tell someone the company line. We work for our customer. That means I can look a customer in the eye and I can say, look, I have all the companies that are here, or most of the companies, and I can shop through all the companies and find the exact best value for you because I work for you, not the insurance company. I'm your advocate. I'm not an advocate for the insurance company because I want to build a lifetime relationship with you. Whatever we buy, this may not be the last insurance policy you ever have, but I want to be the last insurance agent you ever need. And me and Medicare Gurus will be here for you and your kids and your grandkids. And that's the kind of relationship we want to have with you. So being independent allows us that flexibility that when they call us, we're not telling the company line. We're saying, look, I'm advocating for you. Here's what's going on in Medicare. Here's what's going on with the companies. I know your situation. This is where you should be. That's how you build a career. And even a legacy career where you can have multiple generations of your family in that. And that's what we want to build. So being independent means you're there. Now, if you're in the insurance business, being an independent agent, I say unless this one insurance company gives you a right to leave with 100% vesting from day one, you should never be a captive insurance agent because independent insurance agency contracts will give you that right. You can go get an independent insurance agent contract with just about any insurance company out there. You'll get day one vesting as an independent contractor. They're not going to give you a whole lot of support. They're not going to give you leads. They're not going to do anything. It's you send in the business, we'll issue it. If we issue it, we'll pay you a commission as long as we get the premiums. That's what the standard insurance company contracts are. So if you're going to do that, there's several ways you can do it. And you can go all on your own. And if you're going to go on your own, this means it's all on you. You're going to have to now not be a salesperson. You're going to be a business person. You're going to have your own lead generation source. You're going to have to do your own accounting. You're going to have to, if you start growing, you're going to have a lot of other things to do. You got to keep up with the companies. You got to know what their products are. You're going to have to deal with your own technology. You're going to have to manage all these things. And the problem that most people get into is by the time they're done with that, there's no time left to sell and rarely any energy left to sell. And you can do that. You can also, you can align. You can form alliances. That's, sharing resources with other people, finding this can be with let's just call them friends. This is with your FMOs, which I'll get into. These FMOs often offer some kind of support structures. We'll get into the details later about what FMOs are, how to choose them and all that. Or you can or you can come into a good agency. What you're looking for is to know where to get in the insurance business. So if you have an agency that is actively selling, I think that's the best way to get in the insurance business. Here's why. Because an insurance agency will have a vested interest in your success, and they'll already be successful. The FMOs out in the world, and the agency can be their own FMO, or they work under an FMO. FMO, for that, an FMO is a go-between between an insurance company and an insurance agent. That's what they are. They get to deal with the insurance company, and what they do is they recruit you as an insurance agent they basically, here's the Mutual of Omaha, the United Healthcare, the whatever contract. You sign that contract. They sign it too. They submit it and they say, I'll be responsible for any debts he has or whatever. And then you are now licensed to sell for that insurance company. Every time you sell something, they will then get an override commission off of what you sell. So they're incentivized to do that. Very few FMOs, they're always trying to get some kind of systemic support, referrals, lead referrals, some kind of technology. It's normally they're just referring stuff. There's a few out there that give a lot of value add. So you want to look for the ones who give you the most value add as possible if you're going to get an FMO. But what I found in being an FMO and also from, just seeing what the industry does is the incentive for an FMO because they are not in your office. They're not in your business. They don't sit there and work with you every day one-on-one or mentor you or show you the business or anything else. Their incentive is to get as many people contracted and insert themselves into the upline of as many people as possible. And if they insert themselves into as many uplines as possible, if I get 10,000 people in their upline, some of them are going to sell and I'm going to make a lot of money. What they've all find out is that when they try to work with people who are, not captive to them or whatever else, who don't work with them on a day-to-day basis, that they end up losing deals to the bigger companies that'll come in. If they help develop an agent, if they're even capable, a lot of them have never sold insurance by themselves at all. That's something that no one actually realizes. Very few FMOs have actually ever sold a policy. They're like MBA types and business types and business to business salespeople. They're not actually insurance agents. So their incentive is massive amounts of getting you to sign contracts, and they dangle support and help there a little bit, but they don't, it's not really where they're not going to take responsibility to help you. The ideal situation for someone who's new in the insurance business is to align themselves with a strong agency. I've always said, no matter what business you're in, no matter what you want to do, if you want to be successful, find someone who's having success and attach yourselves to them. Get as close to in that room as you can. And why is that? Because success is hard to find. In order to have a successful career where you're getting consistent results, in order to have anything like that, so many pieces have to come together. And everyone's trying to, on social media, sharing this formula, that formula, but why does it never work? Because even if you have the right formula, there's a spark. There's some kind of magic that has to happen. It's normally that, it happens inside you, it happens in other people. And when you get around a group of people that have that spark and they've created the wave in the ocean that you can ride on, and you get on that wave, you'll become that. You'll feel that energy and you'll be around that. And then also you're getting out of the talk, because a lot of people in the insurance business talk a lot. And if you've been on social media, if you've been on the phone talking to the recruiters, there's a lot of people talking about a lot of things. But how many of them are actually putting into practice and turn it into a commission check? How many can show you the direct deposits? How many can show you the actual things that they're doing? So, and the success that they're having. Everyone has all these ideas and there's a lot of talk. Get away from that. Find the people that are having success. So if you can find the right agency that is an FMO or an agency working under an FMO that's kind of got a head of steam, that's where you want to be. You want to be forming alliances with people that you can work with, that align with your values and interests and are going where you want to go. I think that's the best way to go. Now, these agencies can sometimes be a captive carrier agency. Well, we've talked about the problems with that. There's a lot of agencies out there. I'm not going to name names, but they're going out there. Come on in, be part of our agency, but they're working with one company. Well, you better be careful and make sure you have that right contract. Again, 100% vested from day one. Can leave anytime you want to go and go do something else if things change, because things will change. You want to know that you go somewhere else. But these are the ways that you can get in. If you go with an FMO, if you just want to be on your own, you're going to probably have to find an FMO to put your contracts under. Ask the right questions of them. Don't believe the hype. Find out the real results. Are they really going to be there day in, day out? Or is it just call me if you want to and I'll give you my best advice? And I can tell you what's going on with the company and I can help you with an underwriting issue here or there. That's normally as far as you're going to get. But attach yourself to that. So these are the ways you can get involved in the insurance industry. These are the ways you can go, and a little bit of my advice with it, and I'll take some questions at this point.
I'm gonna turn it over.
I think we're gonna go private at this point. So thank you everyone in the YouTube, Facebook, Twitterverse, and we'll go to our private meeting at this point for Q&A.